Welcome back to Unexplained Canadian Mysteries. My name is Kenton DeYoung, and I'm sitting here with Dylan Fairman.
Yes.
Now, Dylan, last time we got together, we were doing a Halloween special.
It was spooky.
It was spooky.
I was spooked.
We were talking about Nahanni National Park.
Yes. Yes, with the people losing of the heads.
That's right. That's right. And now that one didn't do as good as I hoped it would. Not as many people listen to it, but I think it's because more people care about like Granger Taylor than about some place in the Northwest Territories.
Yeah, or that's just how shit happens sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes just like one doesn't like. I personally found the second one way more spooky and enthralling for myself. So out of the two, that's the one I probably would have been like, ooh. But I'm not like everyone else.
We got some good feedback though from people who did hear it.
Oh, good.
They liked it.
What did they say?
Some people, never heard of it before. Didn't know anything about the place, right?
Mm.
I had to look it up on a map. Some people appreciated our profanity reduction.
I didn't even mean to do it. Like, I think it was just the first one we recorded. I was so tired, and the more tired I get, the more I go like.
But they liked it.
I didn't think about that. I really want to look that up on Google Maps now.
Where it is?
Yeah, and like look at it like through satellite.
Yeah, you can do that.
Unsolved Canadian Mysteries.
And last time I asked you how far north you've been. This time I'll ask you how far east have you been?
If you're to Saskatoon. Toronto.
Oh, nice. I've actually never been in Toronto. I've only been to the airport.
Me too.
Okay. Well, that's actually really, really close to where we're talking. It's not in Toronto exactly, but it's close to Toronto.
It's in the airport?
No. All right, so do you know all the Great Lakes of Canada?
Yeah, there's the one with Ogopogo. There's
Yes.
And then there's the four that do not have Ogopogo.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's a good way of remembering the five.
That's what my teacher taught me.
Okay. My teacher taught us like a little rhyme. Do you remember them? It's
No.
Okay. We went to the same school.
Well, obviously someone paid a little more attention than the other.
So they taught me us. Superman helps everyone. So it's Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, Ontario.
Right. See, Erie makes sense. The other ones.
Okay.
Well, Michigan makes sense because it's probably beside Michigan.
Yeah. And Ontario's beside, like Ontario's beside Ontario.
Oh! Duh!
That's okay.
Yeah, so then there's the one that's, what's the second one?
This Superior, Michigan, Huron.
Huron.
Yeah.
That's the one.
It's okay. Tonight, we're actually talking about Lake Ontario.
Okay.
Okay.
So no Ogopogo.
I don't know which one Ogopogo's in.
I thought it was Superior because it's the big one. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe this is this about Ogopogo?
It's not about Ogopogo.
Okay, sorry.
No. We're talking about Lake Ontario, and a couple years ago I went to this city on the banks of Lake Ontario called Kingston. And Kingston is a very cool city, very historic. Lots of really weird stuff happens in Kingston. That's where Tim Horton is from. That's where
donuts were invented.
Canadian donuts, yeah. That's where that singer that had cancer is from.
The singer?
He died a couple years ago.
And the Hunter Meridian.
Yes.
Tragically hip.
Yeah, Gord Downey?
Gord Downey.
Yeah, he's from there. John McDonald is from there. A lot of people are from... Well, John McDonald did his career there. A lot of people are from Kingston, and Kingston was the first capital of Canada when they moved the capital around in the first years of Canada.
Oh, people were like fighting for it.
Well, they want to have it close to the United States in case the United States attack, but they don't want to have it too close to the United States.
I see.
In case they attacked.
I see.
Well, so like they moved it from Kingston to Quebec City to Montreal to I think Toronto, and they moved it around in like those 5 cities for a bit, and finally settled in Ottawa.
Makes sense.
So the first capital, like Parliament building, is in Kingston, so it's pretty cool to see. But so just outside Kingston is Lake Ontario, and there's Wolf Island, and I went there 10 years ago with a group. We did like a corn maze out there. It was fun, but that's pretty much a limitation of my knowledge of Wolf Island until...
Is there corn?
Yeah. Apparently they grow corn on Wolf Island, and they make a maze out of it. And I've been told now there's like a restaurant out there.
I must visit this island of corn.
I bet the restaurant sells corn. Corn on the cob and cream corn and this island is part of a collection of 3 kind of islands in this area, and Kingston and these islands are all kind of near the where Lake Ontario kind of flows into the St. Lawrence River and out onto the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
To help with some geography here. So this area is very popular with ships, especially in the early days. Lots of boats and vessels went up and down through this area. And a strange occurrence kept happening that kind of gave this area between these 3 islands a name. And it's called the Marysburgh Vortex.
I'm making these faces because I'm going to put like...
Okay. Okay.
Or I might not.
So this vortex has seen a extremely high number of ships going down in it. They estimated to be around 270 vessels have been lost in this vortex. So the year is 1889, and lots of vessels are going through this vortex.
Okay.
This Marysburgh Vortex.
Is this vortex continuously going, or is it only at specific times?
Always.
Always a vortex.
Yeah. So the Bavaria is going through. It's being towed by another ship, and I think the story goes it was hit by a big gale wind, like a big wind that snapped the rope, and the Bavaria drifted off. I'm not sure why the Bavaria couldn't like do its own thing. Maybe it was under repair and they're taking it to go get fixed or something. But there's people on the Bavaria, so I don't know like what they did, right? Like when they got set loose of their ship and kind of drifted away. I don't know what their thoughts were like. Hey, we should get the sails going or something. But I don't know. So their ship turned around to go find the Bavaria, and it found the ship landed on a nearby island.
Okay.
So they went to it and meant to go check on the crew, make sure everything was okay, everybody was all right. But there was no crew. There was 87 men on that ship when the rope snapped. But when they found the ship again, it was empty.
Do you know the time frame? Like how long?
Hours.
That's fucked.
So they went on the ship and they found like the dinner table was still set. All the captain's stuff was still in order in the captain's quarters. There's even a parakeet still chirping away happily in one of the rooms. Now there was a lifeboat missing, but I looked into how many people can fit in a lifeboat, and the Titanic lifeboats, the big ones, I think could only hold about 67. So even the Titanic lifeboats couldn't hold the entire crew of the Bavaria, and these 87 men were never found. They never showed up. So this is one like the Bavaria ghost ship of the vortex, right? But 10 years later, in 1900, 3 ships are going again across the water, and this time they witness it happen. The one ship ahead of them, the Picton, they see it's going, and it's far enough on the horizon they can see it, but they can't see it like in details, right?
Right.
And they see what looks like they take down their sails, and then it looks like they take down, like I can't think of what the term is, but I think the sails are attached to
the mast.
Yeah, the mast, exactly. Which you don't do unless there's a storm, right?
Right.
And then suddenly the ship is gone.
Like they could see it.
Like they could see because it's on the horizon, like a small dot on the
Yeah.
horizon. They're not small, but they could see like the sails go down,
Right.
the mast go down, and the ship disappear too.
Oh, okay.
So the other 2 boats get up to the area where the ship vanished, where the Picton vanished, and all they find is some debris in the water, like some rubbish, like nothing that say what it was, right? So they think, well, did it sink? What happened to it? And they never find it. But a couple days later, there's a man out walking his dog on one of the coasts. I think it was in Canada, and he sees this bottle with a note in it. And I think I read the first couple days he just ignored it, and then he went out eventually and went to see what is this bottle doing floating rubbish in my lake, right?
Rubbish in my lake.
Right. So he has to go and clean it up, and he gets it and unrolls it, and it's a letter from the captain of the Picton that went down. And the captain said,
Bears.
no, the captain says his son is Venny. Says, I have lashed Venny to me with a cable so that we may be found together. When would he had a chance to tie his son to him? And why does he give it in like a text context that they will not be found alive? In fact, they are never found. The entire crew disappeared that day as well. So it's 2 crews now. What, do you think something's happening? Okay, what do you think's going on?
I think it's a fucking kraken squid.
Giant in Lake Ontario?
Yeah. in
Okay.
Lake Ontario. Think about that.
Okay.
How do you get rid of massive amounts of human bodies? you eat them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Little known fact about squid poop: doesn't float.
You know, you come up with the most true but amazing facts in some of these podcasts.
I'd like someone to show me squid poop. You're not gonna be able to.
Okay. Maybe you're right. And I did actually look into, let's see what direction the water's going, because in my mind, the St. Lawrence River would go into the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the other way out. That goes out of the Great Lakes into the St. Lawrence River.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense because the Great Lakes are probably the reservoir, so then it would, I don't know what I'm talking about.
It would flow into the ocean, yeah. Yeah, I thought maybe it went the other way, but it doesn't. It goes from the lakes into the ocean. Those are two scenarios.
Okay.
2 of the 270 ships that have vanished. There's another one in 1882. This ship, this time the crew survived, but they mentioned in their documentation prior to their crash that their compass messed up. There was some kind of anomaly and their compass went crazy and they ended up going to a land when they should have been going to water. This topic, these ships going missing has been happening over and over again. There's reports from as early as 1802 of ships in the water, something going on with their compass, and they either crash or they disappear or the crew goes missing, something of that sort. So much so that the Canadian government decided to look into this. What is happening in this lake? And so did the American government on their side. And both of their programs were called Project Magnet. Their idea is that there's some kind of electromagnetic anomaly happening in this lake. One of the leading reasons for that claim, and we actually kind of mentioned it in our last podcast, was in the last one we were talking about those planes going missing over Nahanni National Park, which you should check out that podcast if you haven't heard that podcast. Yes, that was a good one.
Spoiler alert. There might be bears.
There might be bears. Yes, definitely planes going down in that one. So actually, when we were talking about that, I got the idea for this podcast, and I wanted to do a little more research into it. So, in 1975, a Cessna plane. Have you ever been in a Cessna plane?
I don't even know what that is.
It's like a small 5-person airplane.
Okay, but what's like? Is it the size? That's why it's called that, or is there a specific reason?
It's like a Ford truck or a Dodge car. It's a Cessna plane, so it's just like a brand of plane. Okay. No, you should go. They have them at the flying club. You can go up with a pilot.
Oh, I just don't have money to blow like that. I like to buy cameras and,
and recording equipment,
and microphones.
Yes. Okay.
And lights that make my skin look fabulous.
It does, and your hair looks wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. What we're talking about was the airplane, right? So the Cessna, 1975, the Cessna airplane was flying over the Vortex, and the pilot recorded or said that it felt like someone or something pushed the airplane down. So much so that his plane flipped upside down and went into a tailspin, flying down to the water, and he had to maneuver last minute to get it from crashing into the water. And he's not the only one who's recorded planes having malfunctions in this area. So the government looked into this to see what was going on with this area and other things. I think it was a whole thing from 1950s to 1990s during the Cold War to kind of figure out, what the world's doing and how we can use it against the Soviets, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think it was probably military reasons.
Everything's fueled by that at this point.
Yes. So Project Magnet looked into this, and they found under the water was a lot of copper.
In the actual
in the soil.
Oh, in the soil.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the thought is, I guess, whatever soil is called underwater. Soil. I think it's soil. You know what I'm talking about, anyway. Yeah.
Bedrock? No, not bedrock.
Bedrock's deeper down.
Yeah.
From Minecraft. I know that from Minecraft.
Good learning.
Yeah. And according to the local fishermen, that this copper veins, copper in the soil, causes these ships to lose their compass. It's like electromagnetically charged.
Mm-hmm.
Others say that because the lake's shallow when they approach the St. Lawrence, and that's kind of where this area is, the people just make mistakes and they crash their ships into stuff. But crashing your ship into an island is one thing, but the entire crew disappearing or disappearing, the entire ship disappearing is another thing, right?
Right. Every single person, not one body found.
Yeah. That's different than I lost my way and bumped into an island.
Oh, I hit a rock. I shucks.
Right. So what they looked deeper into the ground, and what they found was something called the Charity Shoal crater, and they're not sure. It's still not. National Geographic did a whole thing about it. and they're not sure if it was caused by a meteorite crashing into the lake 40 million years ago, or if it was something to do with glacial movements and how the glaciers kind of scraped the area away during the last ice age. But whatever this thing is, may it be a crater or may it be just a
Scrapings.
yeah, it causes an electromagnetic anomaly. But that's as far as the research goes. That what it does. I'm thinking what it's doing is it's pulling ships down, and it's pulling planes down out of the sky.
To pull a ship
Yeah.
that is designed to be vigorously buoyant.
Yeah, I know.
That is a lot. I don't think that's even possible. If you tasked the entire world to make a super magnet strong enough to pull a ship underwater, I don't think that is achievable.
I know. I could see it messing up the compass.
Right. True.
That makes sense, right? Because I've experienced that. People experience that. That's a normal thing, right? But does it make a ship disappear? To make a crew disappear? I don't know.
It has to be multiple anomalies in the same place. Like the one thing gets rid of the ship, the other gets rid of the people.
Yeah.
You know, like the magnets make the ship crash, and then mermaids eat the people.
Or krakens.
Krakens. Right.
Yeah, okay.
Well, Kraken solves both. So
yeah, okay.
Except planes.
Yeah, that one, like, I was like, okay, it's gonna be something in the water that's pulling these things down, you know, answer solved. But then it was like, then I read about the plane. I'm like, well, that kind of throws my whole idea out of the water. Like, okay, you're right. If a magnet is strong enough to pull the ship underwater, which would be so powerful, right? How powerful would it be to pull a plane out of the sky?
Well, I don't think, because the resistance is significantly less for a plane, because plus the plane's relying on more things to stay in the air than the ship, because the ship's not really relying on much to float.
Right.
It's literally, it's made to float.
Yeah.
The plane has specific things that have to work perfectly fine for it to fly.
Yeah.
Like, if the ship stops working, it's still able to float.
That's true. That's true. Lifeboats, for example, are just
Right.
hunks of wood. Yeah.
Right.
There's a whole list. The Global News did like a deep dive into this, right? And they, right? So
Deep dive.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, I didn't mean to say, yeah, that's pretty good. And they recorded all these different ships that went missing, that crashed, that disappeared, and like they have a whole list on their website of these. I think they listed about 15 of the 270 ships that have gone missing. So they just kind of talked about what's happened to some of them, right?
Okay.
The Bavaria, the Picton, a couple others that I have on my phone, but I don't want to look at it again.
That's totally fine.
That's fine. That was the two that everyone talks about: is the Bavaria and the Picton. And you know, global positioning GPS systems have kind of rolled out in the later half of the 1900s. These ships have stopped, having these problems.
Okay.
So a lot of people think it's navigation.
Right. That's the most logical reason. Like, unless it was something specific to that time frame too, like not necessarily technology, but more like an anomaly that is in that time frame.
Yeah. It could be, the vessels are made out of type of material that the anomaly affected. And then later they changed it, maybe following World War II, whatever. They changed the material used to make boats, and then they stopped having that problem.
Yeah, like lead. Okay, although I don't think boats are made of lead.
No.
Lead sinks.
Yeah. I was thinking about the red paint, but I think that's copper.
Right.
So, but doesn't mean just because, since the invention of GPS that these have stopped happening. In fact, in 2013, so like 8 years ago, there was this schooner. I guess maybe it was a sailboat. I'm not sure. One guy on it. He was going to go from New York to Ontario, something like that, just across the water. He never made it. Instead, they found his vessel floating, kind of stuck, and they went out to it. He was gone. The vessel was filled with food for a couple weeks, filled with drinks. It was in working order, but he was missing. So, that is honestly the only answer I can think of. Unless they're swimming bears or something.
Can squids and octopus, what's the temperature they can survive in?
I don't know. And they're ocean animals.
Yeah.
So they'd have to come up the St. Lawrence.
Is there any freshwater octopus?
Ogopogo.
Oh, shit. You lied! You said this had nothing to do with Ogopogo, but the answer is in your face. It's Ogopogo.
I don't know if octopuses or the Kraken or the Ogopogo can be in that water, but to answer your question,
Okay.
Marysburgh Vortex has been around for 200 years plus, right?
Okay.
And for some reason, everybody's talking about this year.
Really?
Yeah. Even Kingston Life, like Kingston's magazine, did a whole feature about it last month in the November-December issue.
Is there a specific reason for that, or is it just trending on Twitter?
I don't know why. If you look it up, like Global News did a piece about this year, the Toronto Star did a piece about this year. Everyone's talking about the vortex. And I'm thinking, did something happen this year? Is it an anniversary of something? I don't know. But it's like this thing's been around for 200 plus years, and now everyone's talking about it.
All it takes is for one person to talk about it, and then that gets a lot of views, and then everyone else goes,
Yep.
"Ooh, let's jump on the train."
Yep.
The attention train.
And I knew about this actually when we were doing our Halloween one, so I guess I'm kind of ahead of the game
You are.
by a little bit, but I didn't know about like the number of ships that went down,
Right.
or that there's one that went kind of down in 2013. That guy went missing. Your whole last podcast is about the Bermuda Triangle.
The Bermuda Triangle, yeah.
That got me thinking about this place.
Yeah. So we know where the Bermuda Triangle is. So now this is called the
Marysburgh Vortex.
Triangle.
Yeah, okay.
I'm really good at coming up with names,
Yeah,
Kenton.
I can see that. So, there's also, of course, some talk about aliens. They come in everyone.
Yeah.
But this is not a lot to go on those. So like, I wasn't going to include it, but I'm thinking, I'll mention it. There's been talk of UFOs being spotted over the vortex.
Right.
But I'm thinking it could just be military craft.
Yeah.
Looking into it, seeing what's going on. Like, you got the States right there. You got Ottawa right there. You got Toronto right there. You got military bases all over the place. Like, if somewhere like Vancouver Island has UFOs, that's interesting because like there's nothing there.
Right.
Or Northwest Territories, that's interesting. But like right, kind of in the main center of like main population of Canada, yeah, I could see there being military aircraft.
Popular flight space.
Yeah, right. Like that's not a thing. But of course, aliens comes up in the articles too.
Yeah. It's like the same thing. It's like for mysteries, there's if you don't know, you can always say it's aliens.
Yeah.
There's the same thing with dinosaurs or any animals.
Yeah.
If you don't know what it is on the animal, it's for attracting mates. That's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like if there's like some horns coming out here, it's like, oh, we don't know what it is, so obviously it's probably for attracting mates.
Yes.
Aliens.
So I'm not saying aliens this time. I'm gonna write that one off completely.
That sounds like you might be suggesting aliens.
They're not in every episode.
All right.
Aliens the first one. I'll say yeah, definitely the aliens in the first podcast. Second one, no. This one I'm also gonna say no. This one I'm gonna go with
It's definitely not bears. We can definitely rule that out.
I didn't pick it on purpose so you couldn't say bears. Those are swimming bears.
Yeah. Swimming. Wait.
Just a pack of bears swimming.
Yeah. That would explain why all the bodies are that gone. The bears ate them. Swimming bears that eat only people and corn
Oh no.
from Wolf Island.
Yeah.
They get the corn. Or there's those pigs. There's swimming pigs.
Yeah.
You ever heard of the swimming pigs?
No, but I could imagine they do swim, yes.
Yeah, no, there's these specific pigs that swim from this island. The pigs would eat the corn. Okay.
Well, that's kind of all I have. I don't have an answer to it.
You mean this mystery's unsolved?
Another unsolved Canadian mystery.
Oh, what's the point? Yeah, it doesn't. It's now they literally didn't think there was a colossal squid till like what 8 years ago.
That's true.
So
That's true.
Don't ever rule that shit out.
Yep.
We don't know anything. But like, yeah, what if it was just like the one guy's on his little dinghy and the squid just pulls him out? That's it. Explains that.
Yeah. Yeah. My theory, the what is it called? The charity goal, charity, so whatever the crater.
Yeah.
I think it makes electromagnetic
The
field
magnetic field, yeah.
that either disorientates the ships by messing up the compass or causes them to maybe overreact and then sink themselves or something of that sort. Why people go missing, I think maybe they jump ship or whatever to get to find safety, and they just don't make it because the lake is huge, right?
Right. Or like let's say the two biggest ships that there would have been the most people. Let's just say just for some reason they were all down in the cabin like having drinks, and this happened.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like there you go. They're all stuck inside.
There was one I read about people who were inside, and when they went down to find the wreckage later, they found like an axe in the door as they're trying to chop their way out.
Weird.
So as the ship was sinking, so that could be it. It's a lot of times people are just not paying attention because they're under in the ship.
Yeah, they're in the ship. You could be going like before you notice you're under a lot of water. You could be deep in the water.
Yeah, because it really, when you're in a ship in the vessel, you're already underwater.
Right.
So how do you know if you're more underwater? You know?
Exactly. And it's built to withstand certain pressures of water. So you know you can get down pretty far before anything starts going. It's not like water's super fast. Oof. Yeah. Yeah. No, yours. That makes sense. That's most likely what it is. But we may never know.
That one, like, there's more of an answer to it than the other two.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still unsolved. I was thinking these have all kind of had a theme. Like the first one with Granger Taylor, that was like the theme's kind of air.
Yeah.
Right. The second one was like earth.
Earth.
This one was water.
Fire.
It's gonna be fire.
Fire.
So if you like this episode, tune in next time
because it's gonna be fire.
It's gonna be fire, and it's gonna be paranormal, and there's gonna be some murders in it.
Oh, fuck. My prediction: aliens are going to burn people with flamethrowers, and no one knows why.
No.
Awesome. Thanks, Kenton.
Yeah, thanks for coming on today. You guys are on every time.
Yeah.
The co-hosts.
Can't wait for the next one. Yeah.
So thanks again for coming and meeting with me tonight and talking about this. My name's Kenton DeYoung. I'm sitting here with Dylan Fairman. This is Unsolved Canadian Mysteries on our 3rd episode. Thank you for tuning in. You can find us on Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and pretty much anywhere else you can find podcasts. I think we're out there. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.